I'm Alan's brother. Thanks for coming, although I don't think you need thanks. Everybody's here because they really want to be here. I feel they need to be here. But I'm glad to see so many people here for this. You know, I continue to be amazed at the effect that Alan had on so many people around the world. You know, our family always knew that Alan was special, but we really didn't know that the rest of the world felt the same way. Though, if you knew Alan, you knew that he was all about everybody else. He was a true master teacher. You know, when he talked to you, he made you feel special, like you were the most important thing in his life at that moment. You know, and because of that, we listened to him. We listened to what he had to say. We listened to what he had to teach. And because of that, we learned so much. We learned so much because of him and from him. So anyway, that's why we're here today, to pay tribute to Alan, to honor his memory, and to remember him. But how could we forget him? We're not going to be forgetting him soon. Okay, so I hope you all had a chance to see the memorabilia and scrapbooks that my sister Betty has collected throughout the years, and with it from everybody else also, and also the CD that Chuck has created and has running on the other room. All just a labor of love. A labor of love. Thank you both. Okay, so this is, lastly, I know this, it does actually take a lot to put on a performance and put on a production like this. I want to thank everybody that's involved. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chuck right there.
Thank you. Okay, I've known Alan since high school. We played together as a duet in bands throughout the years, symphony orchestras, high school bands, marching bands, you name it. Alan and I did it. I chose this song, Question by Moody Blues, because Alan touched so many people, more than just music. Personally, he helped a lot of people. And then through dance, which I believe started on our all-night party. I think that was a catalyst for that. We played a silly little song called Coconut, and then it turned into a conga line, which lasted for at least an hour. So anyway, I took a little poetic license with some of the words in the song, so it's Question by Moody Blues. all been meant for me. I was looking for someone to change my life. I was looking for a miracle in my life. And if you could see what it's done to me, to lose the friend I knew, to safely lead me through, between the silence of the mountains and the crashing of the sea, lies the land I once lived in, and she's waiting there for me. But in the gray of the morning, my mind becomes confused between the dead and the sleeping, and the road that I must choose. I was looking for someone to change my life. I was looking for a miracle in my life. And if you could see what it's done to me, to lose the friend I knew, could safely lead me through the land that I once knew. Learn as we grow old the secrets of our souls. It's not the way that you said it when you did those things for me. It's all the way you really meant it when you told me what would be. When we're knocking at the door with 1,000 million questions about hate and death and more, and when we stop and look around us, there is nothing that we need in a world of persecution that is burning in its greed. Okay, next up will be James Toronto.
I am Jim Toronto. I had to write this stuff down because I had a lot of conflicting thoughts. So my wife said, just don't stand there and babble. Let's get your points concise. So start off by saying it really is a small world. It really is. I would have never thought that Al's niece, Anna, would be the person to deliver the news of Al's death through my daughter. And at that time, many memories were revived. You see, I worked with Al's father, Kenny, at Chrysler over 40 years ago. I met Al when he joined the Chrysler rank and file. At that time, I had a friend, his name was Art, who mentioned that his band was looking for a keyboard player. I knew Al played, and he got into the band with me called Crossfire. And that's how our musical friendship began, playing in bands together. At that time, if you know Al, he wore many hats. He was in the band, he was doing theater, and at the same time going to school. He was a very, very busy guy. He took on the role of choir director for this play called Jesus Christ Superstar. He told me about the open audition they were having and hinted that maybe there was a part that would suit me. I'd never done theater before and said no at first. Well, I said no several times. He asked me about it every time I saw him. Eventually, I told him, well, I can't dance, so maybe just give me a small part in the back of the stage. Small part? Al played Judas, I played Christ. The play, the cast, and that time in my life will always be special for me. Al was the catalyst that motivated me to push myself into something that I never considered doing, and I'm grateful for that. Now, Al was a unique person. Because of our musical relationship, I noticed that his taste was somewhat unconventional. So he was often on the cutting edge when it came to music. Sometimes he'd drop by my flat in Detroit on his way to or from Wayne State for a cup of coffee and whatever else I had. Al liked coffee. This one time he brought an album with him. He had never brought music with him before. This was called Bernstein's Mass. He said, you got to listen to this. He was excited about how the sound moved from speaker to speaker, and he wanted to hear it on my stereo. None of us had a pot to pee in, but Al knew I had a pretty good sounding stereo. So we listened to this unconventional music, cutting edge in stereo. That was Al. When Betty asked me if I would sing something for this memorial, I thought about that day, a long time ago. And what I remember is there was one piece that Al really liked on that album. The music and lyrics were different, unique, serene, hopeful, and beautiful. And this song always reminds me of Al. It's called A Simple Song from Bernstein's Mass, and I brought my orchestra with me.
I will sing the Lord a new song, to praise Him, to bless Him, to bless the Lord. I will sing His praises while I live, all of my days. Blessed is the man who loves the Lord. Blessed is the man who praises Him, and walks in His way. I will lift up my eyes to the hills from my head. I will lift up my voice to the Lord, singing louder nowadays. For the Lord is my shade, is the shade upon my right hand, and the sun shall not smite me by day, nor the moon by night. Blessed is the man who praises Him, louder, louder, louder.
God bless you, Al. On eagle's wings, big guy.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to say that, excuse me, just beautiful performances so far. I'm a harmonica player, and I met Al. We became pals back in third grade, 3rd through 8th over at St. Isaac Joe's in St. Clair Shores. And I got to thinking when Betty asked me, to do a little something here, I got to thinking back when we were kids and all the, excuse me, the musical influences that Al had as a kid. I mean, 8 years old through about 12 or 13 when we graduated from St. Isaac's. I got to think, well, I'll go back to our old songbook at St. Isaac's. We had a couple of tunes that we used to like to sing. Maybe you remember Goober Peas or The Happy Wanderer, Valerie Valera, those kind of old songs. And I got to thinking, well, there was other influences we had too. And Alan moved on so far with his musical influences and just some of the songs that touched us all back then, like Shenandoah, Blowing in the Wind, the theme song from MASH that we all remember on TV. Those are just some of the influences that I certainly had, and I know Alan, growing up together, I'm sure he had those too. So just, I thought I'd throw a little bit of this together and play some of those songs. Just blow a reed. Oh, I did that. Alan's wonderful.
Yeah, so we're a combination of the Wayne State University's Men Glee Club and the current group, of which Steve Seagraves, our conductor, manages, and that's called Langsford Men's Chorus, and after Dr. Harry Langsford, who directed the music department and the Glee Club at Wayne State for over 45 years. So with that, hope you enjoy, and if you listen carefully, you may hear Al Danielson's beautiful second tenor voice. You can stand right about here.
This first song is in Latin, so I should tell you what it means. It's Agnus Dei, Vitalis Peccata Mundi, Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. Miserere nobis, have mercy on us. Yeah, be quiet.
Little innocent lamb, I'm gonna serve God till I die. Little lamb, little innocent lamb, I'm gonna serve God till I die. Hypocrite, tell you what he do. I'm gonna serve God till I die. He'll talk about me and talk about you. I'm gonna serve God till I die. Little lamb, little innocent lamb, I'm gonna serve God till I die. Little lamb, little innocent lamb, I'm gonna serve God till I die. Devil, he's got a slippery shoe. I'm gonna serve God till I die. Now, if you don't mind, you're gonna slip it on you. I'm gonna serve God till I die. 'Cause there ain't no time in that heavenly land, in that heavenly land, in that heavenly land. 'Cause there ain't no time in that heavenly land. There'll be joy, joy, joy. Just take one brick from Satan's wall. I'm gonna serve God till I die. Satan's wall gonna tumble and fall. I'm gonna serve God till I die. Little lamb, little innocent lamb, I'm gonna serve God till I die. Little lamb, little innocent lamb, I'm gonna serve God till I die. 'Cause there ain't no time, 'cause there ain't no time in that heavenly land, in that heavenly land, in that heavenly land. 'Cause there ain't no time in that heavenly land. There'll be joy, joy, joy.
University. He was the assistant director for Doc. And after him came this gentleman. I came a little bit later.
Yeah, younger.
Roger Smith.
Now, one of the first people I ran into at Wayne State University, I went down there as a trombone major. Al took me into the glee club and said, "You got to hear this group sing." And I heard the group sing, and 40 some odd years later, here we are together. Al's a tremendous guy. You know, we will love you and miss you forever. I kind of want to thank Al for bringing me into this group of men. It's been a tremendous experience, basically my whole professional career. So we're going to finish with the alma mater to Wayne State University. And this is one that Doc would always have Al step down front, and I'm just going to channel Al right now for you. To the alma mater, homage we bring. Brave hearts raise grateful voices, thy praise to sing. Young art thou, young and strong, renowned shalt thou live and long. Honors to thee will throng, and fame to thee cling. As they're humming this, I just remembered that one of Al's first things that he choreographed, he had the glee club singing on stage while he did some dance in front of us. That was a mix of the arts. It was tremendous. I think it just was foreshadowing the strength that Al had and the vision that this guy had. So with that, we want to thank you all very much. God bless Al Danielson. Honors to thee will throng, and fame to thee cling.
Hello, I'm Anna Marie Casali, and I met Alan through his niece Anna, and we had the pleasure of having Alan teach some classes at the studio whenever he was in town. And when Betty asked me if I would want to contribute a piece to today's event, I thought of Thomas. Thomas is a student of mine, but Thomas is embarking on his own dance studies at Wayne State University, and I thought that was appropriate. And when I was listening to music that Betty had given me music, there was a particular album, a CD that she gave me by Jack Moyer, which was a classroom CD that he was developing with Alan. And the first piece was called Class Start. And I thought, well, just the name kind of intrigued me because that's what I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate the teacher Alan was. Because all his students that he touched, and the presence of how he had a calmness about him as he introduced to my young students well-known technique. So this is Thomas doing Class Start. All right.
forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel.
Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce Lisa Lamar, and I'm Kay Rediers. I danced with Alan as an undergraduate student at Wayne State University. But last summer, or the summer before last actually, Lisa and I had the great fortune of spending 2 weeks with Alan. He taught the Teaching Contemporary Lamont workshop in Montreal, which we attended. As performers and teachers, we came away with a renewed sense of what it means to dance in the Humphrey Lamont tradition. We explored patterns that emphasize the use of breath, gravity, weight, initiation, phrasing, and how all of these ideas related to the basic elements of dance, space, time, energy. Alan's strong background in music was always evident in his classes. His phrases were challenging because of their intricate rhythm and dynamics. He spoke musically as he taught and cued dance phrases. Sometimes he even stepped over to the piano and played the accompaniment with the perfect dynamic and color for the phrase he just taught us. He thought of the body as an orchestra. Different parts have a relationship between each other with many possible articulations. Today we would like to perform several phrases that Alan taught us, which we put together as a dance. He referred to the dance phrases taught in class as etudes. They are movements that are technical explorations, but also have something for the artist. So here is our etude for Alan.
I'm Barbara Sellinger. I'm the Artistic Director of DDC Dances. I am so thrilled to see so many family and friends here this afternoon honoring Alan. It's just really thrilling to have your support and have you be here. It's exciting to see all of you. Alan and I go back a long way, back to the 70s, late 70s. We studied and danced together in college and have maintained a friendship ever since. Alan eventually moved to New York, and he encouraged me to come to New York to study with Ruth Currier, which I did, and he said he could stay in my apartment, and was wonderful. He was also very generous to my company, finding housing for us when we performed at the Merce Cunningham studio years ago. So this New York and Detroit relationship has gone on for quite a long time, and he's also come to perform in Detroit with my company, and it was thrilling. It wasn't that long ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, that he came to perform and choreograph a duet for the two of us after all of those years. So I'm so happy that all of you are here, and I am honored to be here as well, performing for him and have my company perform for him. We're doing what I call a little medley. We are performing some short pieces and then a new piece that I choreographed especially for Alan. Two of the pieces are by music either sung by or composed by Eva Batova. Eva Batova is a Czech artist, and Alan absolutely loved her. He kept handing me music every other minute. He said, you have to use this music. You have to use the music in one of your pieces. So I did so. You will see a short excerpt from a piece that was already choreographed, and then a new piece which is sung by Batova herself. So with further ado, I'd like to introduce you to DDC Dances. Enjoy.
I remember all my lovers. I remember how they helped me. World without end. Remember me. East, the edge of the world. West, those who came before me. When my father died, we put him in the ground. When my father died, it was like a whole library burned down. World without end. Remember me.
At this time, if anyone has any stories that they would like to share about Alan, please, you're welcome to. Thank you.
Break the ice. When I was younger, my dad and Alan's father were best friends, and we used to go over to his house, and he had a big drum set. I thought he was going to be a big rock star and everything. I was real excited for him, you know, and I'm really happy with what he's done with his life. It's really wonderful. It's amazing performances, and it's just wonderful. Thanks.
I'm going to do it anyway, even if I do cry. My name is Gail Dantle. I've known Al for 40 years. We met when I was 19 years old and he was 20, and we were auditioning for the St. Clair Shores Young People's Theater, which is a brand new up-and-coming group. I had no idea the impact that he would make on my life, all the friends that I would meet as a result of him. I can never ever listen to a song like Hang On Sloopy without thinking Hang On Stupid, and because that's what Crossfire used to sing instead of the real words, along with, what was the other one? Oh, My Love Is Alive by Gary Wright, My Horse Is on Fire, and what was some of the other ones. Anyhow, he was such a wonderful man, and obviously he's made a great impact on many more lives than I ever thought, because I remember when he left for New York, we thought, oh my gosh, I don't know about this. This might not work. I hope he's not too disappointed. Obviously, we had nothing to worry about. All the energy that is out there in the universe right now, I can't wait to see how it manifests itself, because it's going to be beautiful.
All right, well, I wish I had a funny story to tell, but it all happened in the 70s, and they say it's a short-term memory, but the long-term's kind of gone away too. But Al has been a very wonderful friend to me throughout, it seems like forever. When I met him, it was like I knew him for 100 years. And I know the same thing goes with everybody in this room. He gave of himself, and he gave himself to everybody here. I'm just thankful to have met him and to have been a part of his life. Both my kids know him. He would come into town and stop by and say hi. And the last I heard from him was the last birthday. Our birthdays are 8 days apart. And I would always call him or send him a text or email him and wish him a happy birthday. And he never really remembered how I could remember his birthday. I said, well, it's 8 days after mine. So, so actually last year he remembered mine for the first time. And it took me back because I was about to write him. So I said, okay. And he was saying how we were about to turn 60. And he didn't make it, but I'm going to carry on for him as far as I can. He's in my heart, and I know he's in all your hearts too. So God bless him, and I miss him dearly.
I'll stay here. I was very lucky enough to spend the last month living in my Uncle Al's apartment. I don't have any specific memories to share other than him making fun of me. But I know that he would, the fact that you're all here honoring him, he would think that's ridiculous, but I think in his brain he would, and in his heart he would be very thankful that we're here celebrating him. So thank you all for coming.
I just was thinking of something when we were singing back there. I'm Tom. Gail, I think, it sparked this thing that we were on a tour with the Glee Club from Wayne State, and it was all the way up to Petoskey and all the way through the Upper Peninsula, then down through Wisconsin and Illinois. It was a whole big circle. And Doc Langsford, he and Al were very close, as we all were with Doc, and he picked Al to drive the van. And Al picked me to drive in the van with him. This is something that I didn't really remember until just now. So it was just me and Al, smoking away our cigarettes and everything. Nobody knew we smoked. We weren't supposed to smoke because we were singers. And the whole bus, you were on that tour, I guess. And the whole bus full of 50 guys and a bus driver. Everybody's angry and let's get there. But me and Al, we're just floating along, smoking and listening to the radio and stuff. And I remember the song, Carry On My Wayward Son, I think is the name by Kansas. Carry on my wayward son, that song. I could never hear that song without thinking of Al, because that was like the #1 hit at the time. And it was always on the radio. And when we'd flick it on and we would just sing it away, and we had our feet out the window and stuff. And it was just a blast, and I'll never forget that time. Al picked me to be his companion in the van. It was a blast. So.
Hey, hi, I'm Tom's sister. That's Gail. I knew that.
Oh, hi!
I just remember always, Al was like, what's Al doing? What's Al doing? He's so cool. I always had a crush on him when I was little, but he didn't know that because I was little. And Al was just a big guy. I just knew his brother, Al. They went to New York. They was at Wayne State. And I used to see him in the Glee Club. Unfortunately, I didn't know him very well recently, but I just want to say that I missed him. And I was at St. Isaac Joe's today, and I got my National Communion for him. And I forgot that he went there, so.
Well, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to say something about Alan. I kind of figured it out where I think it was Wayne State University in '79 when my son was 5 years old and he was in kindergarten, and they had a field trip and they had these dancers, and it was in Detroit, and I seen Alan, and we're good friends of the family, and that's my brother Michael that spoke. And I seen Alan, and he goes, oh my gosh, Alan! after it was done, I says, hi, it's me. So he knew who I was, and he signed the book for me, but I'm almost positive it was Wayne State University. And it kind of gets to where he would teach even young kids at that time, where they were only 5. And then I remember Jesus Christ Superstar, going to see the play and other things that he's done. He's a wonderful friend, and I know the family real well, and I'll miss him.
I just have a short memory of Alan. My name is Erica. I'm Charlie's daughter. And I remember the first time that I met Alan, Dad took me to see his dance performance at Henry Ford Community College in Dearborn. And I was just 99, so I was a freshman in high school. I was doing theater at the time, and I remember seeing the dancers, and I remember seeing Alan on stage and looking at my dad and knowing that even in my dad's band, but seeing him in this whole new light, this whole new performance, and I thought, this is great. This is wonderful what he's done. This is wonderful what he's teaching these students. You know, he's giving them a chance to express themselves, and he is shaping lives and shaping people's futures. So it's just a small memory that I have. I know that my dad will miss him. I know that you all will miss him, and I will miss him too. So thank you all for being here to support him.
I feel like our family's underrepresented, so I feel like I have to speak. You know, I'm Dan, Betty's oldest son, Anna and Kai as well, and he really affected our family in positive ways. Whenever he would come home from New York to visit, he would you would know that he's in town because my mom would just light up. But my mom was the best. My uncle was the best little brother that my mom could have had. She, you know, Uncle Al would come through the door and she would scream, "Ah! Alan really helped us out, all 3 of us, growing up. He came home for Anna's graduation. And all 3 of us, he was so inspiring. All 3 of us started doing dance. Didn't take for me. I went into engineering. I took a couple of years, didn't really take for her. And Anna really caught on to that. But all 3 of us were positively affected. He came home for Anna's graduation. For Casale Dance, the graduating seniors get to do their own dance recital, or dance. They get to choreograph and perform their own dance. And obviously got help from Uncle Al, and it was amazing. It's on YouTube. You know, both of them working on the choreography in the backyard is one of the best moments I can remember. Kai went through some hard times, and Al really helped her out. I went through some hard times, and her grandma was moving out, and he was staying at her place, and we had to pick him up. We went to the airport, and the entire way I was telling him about the problems I was having, and he was so receptive, so responsive, and he really helped all of us out. He definitely made us better people. And one other thing, I feel, try to live your life without regrets, and definitely Alan, he was always happy. And I do have one regret, and on my phone, I've got a picture that I took a couple of days before he died, and I wanted to send it to him. If you go to the store, they have lemon potato chips now. And so I took a picture of that, and I was going to send it to him, but I was busy that day. And the next day, I was too busy. And the next day, I got a phone call from Anna, because Anna was his emergency contact. And I ran out of days. I ran out of days to send it to him. One small regret.
He's got it now.
And he drastically improved all of our senses of humor. When he was at home, we would be in a competition, all of us and my dad and Gary too, would be trying to come up with the best joke first, and he was so fast, so he made us all better.
Those of you with short-term memory loss, I'm Gary Danielson. So recently, my sister Betty had, we've been collaborating and grabbing all the memorabilia from my mother's passing and Alan and getting everything together. We did come across our home movies from the 50s and 60s, and Betty had them put onto DVD, and she's been after me to make copies of those, and I just, I'm a professional procrastinator. I did this yesterday, and this morning I realized that I would do what she's been asking me to do for a while, and I've got a clip of Alan's true beginnings. Well, when he began to dance, and it wasn't at Wayne State. It wasn't at Florida State. It was back in Fairhaven. So this is a clip it's a 1 minute clip. I'm going to ask Chuck if we could throw it up on the computer and let it cycle. I think you'll get enjoyment out of it.
I wanted to expand on something that Jared said earlier about how whenever you were with Al, she just made you feel like you were the most important person in the room. He was always so engaged, and just everything that he did, the dance, the music, or just making jokes, being around, he was just so passionate, just engaged. Just really amazing person. It'll always be what sticks out for me.
There's Wanda.
In the back.
This is guys.
In the wings.
And Anna. Yeah. These people made all of this come together. think Alan would be absolutely thrilled. Thank you so much for being here. We love you.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Remember the good times that we had. Let them slip away from us when things got bad. Clearly I first saw you smiling in the sun. Wanna feel your warmth upon me. Wanna be the one. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for memories. I'm so tired, I can't sleep. Standing on the edge of something much too deep. It's funny how it feels so much, you cannot say a word. We are screaming inside, oh, we can't be heard. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. So afraid to love you, more afraid to lose. Clinging to a past that doesn't let me choose. Where once there was a dark